I do not know how long I was sleeping, but I woke up because I felt something tiny and creepy crawly on my knee. I reached down and swatted it with my hand. There was just a yellow spot of goop when I brought my hand up to see what kind of bug it was. Then I heard the weirdest whiny-moany noise I have ever heard. I looked up and around and behind me, but I did not see anything. Then I looked down on the ground. I found myself surrounded by very little beings. Some were laying down. I guess they must have fainted after seeing one of their own squashed by my big hand. I knew they were not bugs then because they were all staring at me, and because they were all not crawling over me, or biting me, or injecting their eggs under my skin to incubate there and hatch later. These are very teeny-tiny beings indeed. When I compare them to myself, the tallest is only as big as my thumb. Each tiny being has a great head in comparison to the rest of its body. In fact, the head takes up as much space as the body. The two remarkable features of the head are the size of the head compared to the little body, and its almost perfect roundness. It is like a melon on a sliver. Each being's head had a mouth, but other than that, there is only one other facial feature. Their globe heads are divided into an upper and lower hemisphere by a dark line at the equator. I perceived this dark line to be, all in one, the eyes, ears, and nose of these beings, since they employed them much in their observation of myself and, with their mouths also, in communication with each other. I was very hungry, as I had travelled on my chunk of land for 40 days and 40 nights, or something like that. My first thought was to eat a handful of the little beings, but they held up their hands to ward me off, and wailed in high-pitched whiny shrieks. The little beings understood that I was famished from the disgusting rumbling noises that my stomach made. Seemingly from thin air, they produced tiny, delicate green crystals in great abundance. In my hand they appeared as so many granules of green sugar, except not gritty, rather these were gummy, and had a flavor that made me think green thoughts. As fast as I would pop a handful of the green stuff into my mouth, the little beings would bring me more. They also brought me a cup, though to them it would be a tub, of green liquid, which after I drank it, I perceived it to be wine made from the green gummy crystals. It had a very fine flavor, and it made me think rather mellow green thoughts. As much as the big heads, my name for them, speak to me, I never comprehend a single word they say, but I must help them drink their wine. One tiny being, who does most of the talking, seems to be in charge, since the others are always paying attention to him, and they jump to action after he speaks. I suppose he is the father of these tiny beings. While he was speaking, he also did strange dances. He looked really stupid, waving his arms about like that. After a few weeks of the father trying to talk to me, some others of these big heads dressed in tight, colorful clothing came to bother me. Some rode upon wheelie thing around and around inside the loop on my head. One had the nerve to bounce up and down on my lips. I should have just opened my mouth and swallowed him whole. The only thing I did not really mind was the 3 beings that did flips and somersaults on the 3 spikes that stick out of my chest. That was kind of fun.